So, if someone were to offer you a chance of something with the odds being 1 to 1.25 million, would you take the chance? Those aren't very good odds if you're trying to win the lottery. But if it's brain cancer and you are the surviving 1%, you'd take the chance, and I did. It's true what my wife says about me being 1 in a million. Yeah, and she does. And so, this is the beginning of my new normal. Now, some may just say that I'm lucky, and in fact I am. I am lucky 13 in a family of 14 children. See, that's that 14 that you're talking about. It wasn't our family, but a family of 14. But my luck didn't stop there. I've had some great opportunities in my life. I had opportunities to perform with a couple of my brothers. We even made a few CDs, and we did it professionally. I was able to be on a national television show called This Old House when I was living in Massachusetts, selling and installing high-ended shutters. I was able to have my own wood floor business, and I could do just about anything that I put my mind to. In 2006, I was 35 years old. I was married, had 3 small boys, and I was finishing up my bachelor's degree at the local university when a weekend visit to the emergency room, because I was having some weird spells and talking gibberish, changed everything. I had an exploratory surgery the next morning. I had brain cancer. It was a weird kind of cancer. It was called an oleoastrocytoma glandioloma mix in my left temporal lobe. The survival rate is less than 1% after 1 year. I went in for the second surgery about a month later to get as much of the tumor as they could out. When I woke up from my second surgery, there was a nurse in my room, and she was holding up a letter. And she says, "Matt, do you know what this letter is?" I did not. She said, "Matt, this is an M. Your name is Matt. It starts with an M." At that point, I was thinking it would be a great time to learn another language because I did not know English. My whole world changed at that point. I could no longer read. I couldn't read a road sign to see where I was going. I couldn't read a menu at a restaurant. I couldn't read a baby book for my kids to put them to sleep. It was like I was living in a different world. I couldn't write, and I had a tough time expressing myself. About 7 months into treatment, I was dealing with the beginnings of a divorce and a custody battle for me to even see my boys. I went to my doctor, and he says, "Matt, you probably have a couple months to live." I had heard those words before. My oldest brother, Ron, 14 years earlier, died of cancer. By the time that he found it to the time that he died was 2 months. They didn't even know the origin of the cancer, because when they found it, it was everywhere. My family didn't want to lose another brother to cancer. I went to another doctor, and as he was having a sandwich, he said, "Sorry, there's nothing I could do." My siblings asked doctor friends to look at my scans, and they also were like, "We're sorry." I was going downhill fast, and I felt like I was losing at everything. In fact, one night, I felt like that if I would have died that night, or if I would have slept that night, I would have died. I went to a high school track and walked all night long. It was like my body was stopping. It was not working right. I called my mom in the middle of the night and said, "Mom, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around." About 5 in the morning, I called my sister and said, "Can you pick me up and take me to the emergency room just so I can get some relief?" 3 days later, I get a call from one of my brothers that says, "Matt, I've got a airplane ticket to Salt Lake City, Utah. There's a doctor there that wants to meet me to be in a clinical trial option. My family we're looking for anything to save my life. I was on the airplane that morning, and that afternoon, I was at the doctor's, in his office. And that's like 3 days after I thought that my life was done. He said, Matt, is it all right if we have one more surgery? And then could you come and see me every once in a while for the next 30 years? I started to cry. And then I said, can we make it 50 years? Yeah, while we're doing that. I came out of my third surgery. Now, I still had cancer, but they were able to take away some cysts that had been putting pressure on the brain. I was also paralyzed on my entire right side. I had a little pity party for myself for about a half hour. I was upset. I was thinking, why is this happening to me? And then I thought, Matt, I'm alive, and I can figure this out. So I thought, what can I do with what I have? What is my new normal going to look like? One of the first things that I tried to do was to play my guitar. Now, I had been playing my guitar for almost 20 years before the cancer. I tried like crazy to get my right hand to even strum on the guitar, but every time my thumb would fall into the strings like this. And so it didn't have any sound. And so I thought, what can I do with what I have? And so I took my whole right side out of the equation. I would practice with a captive audience of other people who were having chemo with me, and I learned a way to do some things. This is my new normal. This is a song that I wrote several years ago, but even before the cancer, and it's called Go Fly a Kite. It's helped me tremendously. I remember as a kid and how the wind blew like it did, and if the troubles of my life I couldn't yield, well, I would think the things I cared of, pack up all that I was scared of, and then with my kite I'd head out to our old alfalfa field. I didn't care about the time. I needed someplace to unwind where I could think about my future. And if I needed to, I'd pray. Then I'd sit and watch my cares float away up in the air with my kite and all the hours of the day. And it's not worth it to me fighting all humanity where I'd have to plead and beg to make a deal. So if the world seems too unreal and I need some time to heal, you can find me with my troubles and my kite out in the field. Once I learned that I could play my guitar, I knew that I could do just about anything. When I thought I started going on and doing learning how to read and write again. And people said, Matt, you don't have to do that. You don't have to read to be able to have a great life. But to me, reading was a huge benefit and a challenge for me, and I was able to do it. In fact, I was even able to finish my college degree. I was able to get remarried, and the odds of having children were also very slim. I had a lot of chemo, but we've been able to have 2 other children to add to our great family. I was learning all kinds of things that I didn't know that I could do, like making beds. All right? Try doing that one time with your non-dominant hand. All right? I couldn't even get out of doing the laundry. All right? One of the great things about my wife is that she has never once thought of me as being disabled. She believes in me, and she doesn't rescue me from doing hard things. So when I see a task that needs to be done, I just figure out ways that I can do it. What can I do with what I have? This is just a little clip of some other things that I've learned how to do. This is a daily life in my new normal. And this is what helps me get my lawnmower started in the summertime. So I just put this thing in there, around there, and push it there. That way I don't have to use this other hand to pull and everything. And then I just put it in here and start it up and ready to go. So I still take challenge. I still take a challenge at things. I know that I can do anything that I want. But I have a question for each of you. What is your new normal? Everyone here is struggling with something in their life to get it a little better. What can you do with what you have? I'd imagine I was there, elevating in the air, holding tightly to a string that reached its end. And then the harder it would blow, oh, the higher I could go, rising up above my storm and laughing in the wind. And so if the winds of life are blowing and you don't like where you're going and you want to turn around and make things right, go fly a kite. Whoa, go fly a kite. Thank you.